The message came at 11:42 a.m. when sunlight poured through the dusty windows of the old motorcycle garage and the smell of engine oil clung to the air. It was a simple text from an unknown number, only 8 words long, but it froze Rowan Stokes where he stood. He broke Mum's arm. "Please come home." The trembling confusion he felt in that moment quickly shifted into something darker, heavier, as if the universe itself had paused to hand him a responsibility he didn't ask for but couldn't ignore. He read it again and again, imagining the terror behind those words, imagining a child somewhere with shaking hands typing out a plea meant for someone who should have protected her. He didn't know her name. He didn't know where she lived. He only knew one thing with absolute certainty: someone was hurt and someone small was afraid. If you believe kindness and second chances can change lives, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Light of Kindness. Your support keeps these stories alive. Rowan wasn't a hero. At least he never saw himself that way. He was a man with a rough past, a patched leather vest, and a reputation that often made strangers cross the street. His beard was thick, his frame broad, and his motorcycle, an old black and chrome beast, growled so loudly that children covered their ears when he passed. He had made mistakes younger men bragged about and older men regretted. He had once believed that violence was the loudest language in the world, but that was before he grew tired, before he lost people who mattered, before he realized that the world needed more protectors than destroyers. His phone buzzed again. Another message. "He's really angry. Mum says stay in room. Please hurry." The words clawed at his chest. Rowan wiped his hands on a rag, grabbed his helmet, and without hesitation typed back the only thing he could manage: "I'm on my way." When the ambulance arrived, Nora was taken to the hospital. Rowan followed behind on his motorcycle, staying close enough so they would know they weren't alone. The hospital was busy, bright, and quietly chaotic. Nurses rushing through hallways, doctors giving quick instructions, families waiting anxiously. Rowan stayed with Avery in the waiting area, buying her a small juice box from the vending machine and sitting on the floor beside her instead of making her sit alone on a chair that felt too big for someone so small. Hours passed. Eventually, a doctor told them Nora's arm was broken in 2 places but could be treated. She would need support and rest, but would be okay. It was the kind of news that made Rowan feel a quiet, grateful ache inside. Over the next days, Rowan checked on them regularly. At first, Nora resisted, embarrassed by her situation, but she soon realized he wasn't judging her. He wasn't assuming, he wasn't pushing, he was simply there. He fixed their front door for them, repaired the broken lamp, and even painted over the cracked wall where something had struck it during the fight. All done under warm daylight that entered through clean curtains they replaced together. Avery followed him around like a little shadow, smiling more now, her laughter soft but growing braver each day. He didn't try to replace anyone in their lives. He only tried to keep them safe long enough so they could stand again on their own. Nora, too, began to see Rowan not as a stranger on a motorcycle, but a man who showed up when he didn't have to. What he didn't expect was that they helped him too. Their presence softened parts of him he didn't realize were still hardened. Their trust, their gratitude, their growing strength. All of it made Rowan feel like the road he had chosen to walk hadn't been for nothing. That perhaps he could rewrite the legacy of his past by choosing compassion now. Weeks went by, and the neighborhood grew used to seeing Rowan's motorcycle parked outside the small yellow house. Neighbors who once glanced at him with suspicion now nodded with respect. Rowan wasn't loud about anything he did. He simply kept showing up quietly, consistently, with the kind of kindness that didn't ask for recognition. One afternoon, when the sun shone bright and warm across the backyard, Nora sat beside him on the porch and told him she wasn't afraid anymore. Not of being alone, not of starting over, and not of accepting help. Rowan felt something open in his chest that he hadn't felt in years, something like belonging. As life slowly rebuilt itself around the broken pieces of the past, Avery asked Rowan why he had come, even though she had texted the wrong number. Rowan simply told her that sometimes the world sends the right person even through the wrong door. She smiled at him with a happiness that reached her eyes, and in that moment Rowan realized that answering that message had changed more than their lives. It had changed his too. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Light of Kindness. Your one click helps spread hope to someone who may need it today. Before we end, here is a special request. Comment, "Kindness always wins," if you believe every good action creates ripples that save lives. Thank you for watching, and may kindness light your path always.